A very good evening. You're watching News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the top stories of the day. Law Commission wants BCCI to be brought under the ambit of the Right to Information Act, calls it a public authority that has received substantial financing from the centre and state governments. After Brexit, India and the UK resolved to infuse new energy into the bilateral relationship. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, British Premier Theresa May hold talks on new UK-India tech partnership. Decide to take decisive action against terror groups Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Haqqani Network and ISIS. Salaried class warned against fudging income tax returns for tax benefits. Department releases advisory, says employees will be informed about such violators. Ahead of the assembly elections in 2 states this year, BJP changes its party presidents in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, appoints Chief Whip in Lok Sabha Rakesh Singh as the new state chief in Madhya Pradesh. And President Kovind condemns Kathua gang rape and massacre as heinous and embarrassing, says it's the society's responsibility to provide security to women and children, underscores need for value-based education. Well, beginning with the Prime Minister's engagements in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Theresa May today reviewed the progress on bilateral defence and security cooperation after May's visit to India in 2016. At a breakfast meeting today, both leaders also agreed to build on the recommendations of the UK-India Joint Trade Review. Both sides agreed to reduce trade barriers so as to facilitate business in both countries and enable a stronger bilateral trade relationship for the future. May and Modi discussed a new UK-India tech partnership that will create thousands of jobs and generate significant investment in both economies. They also reiterated their strong condemnation of terrorism in all its forms, affirming that terrorist activities cannot be justified on any grounds and should not be associated with any religion, creed, nationality and ethnicity. India and the UK also agreed to work together to tackle threats like piracy, protecting freedom of navigation and improving maritime domain awareness in the region. The two sides also agreed further to enhance cooperation to promote international security and stability in cyberspace. Prime Minister Modi also met the Prince of Wales and visited an exhibition on 5,000 years of science and innovation at the Science Museum in London. He also paid floral tributes at the bust of Basaveshwara, the 12th century Lingayat philosopher, at Albert Embankment Gardens. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, "Ideas of Bhagwan Basaveshwara motivate people across the entire world even today." And Indians living in London are thrilled about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the city. Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke to some of the excited people who had gathered there to greet Modi.
What do you want from Prime Minister visit to UK?
What we want from the Prime Minister from within the UK, we would love his help and assistance in establishing Sardar Patel's statue in United Kingdom.
How it will help?
It will help to ensure the unity of not simply the Indians, but the unity of the world, unity of United Kingdom. And that's very important.
So, Prime Minister is here after 9 years to take part in Commonwealth meeting of Prime Ministers and head of governments. So do you think that this is a new opportunity for India?
Absolutely, 101%.
What do you expect from Britain?
Actually, we want a good relationship in terms of culture and economics and our culture as well. There is a lot India can share with the world, including yoga, Ayurveda, and the knowledge of India as well. And all together, we can help the world a lot. And Modi is the right leader for that.
Narendra Modi ji is doing an excellent job, and we are very proud of having Narendra Modi ji in our team.
In fact, Akhilesh Suman, our Foreign Affairs editor, is joining us live from London at the moment. Akhilesh, a very good evening. It's been a packed day for the Prime Minister in London today. Take us through the important points of the bilateral meet that he had with British Prime Minister Theresa May.
Actually, you know, Tina, I am standing at a place where Prime Minister is going to speak after a while, and you can just see that people here are gathered here. Just I'm giving you a feel that before Prime Minister is going to speak, here also people are standing and greeting for her. So now, as far as the salient points of India-US talk, India-UK talk today, it is really something very touching, you know, that whatever India wants at this point of time, right from terrorism to the trade and investment and also reform in international situation, everything has been in a way that corroborated by the British Prime Minister Theresa May. And when they talked in the morning, it was not the first meeting and last meeting of today. Theresa May also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi while he was talking to the CEOs of both the countries, and Prince Charles also came there to welcome him at the Science Museum. So in a way that Britain is trying to give a feeling that they are giving importance to India at a time when Britain has exited from the European Union.
Right.
And they are seeing as a new opportunity that India and UK can work together. And you know that there is hardly any other country in the world who knows India much better than UK knows.
Certainly.
And India also feel associated with UK in a parallel way. And when I was talking to Indians, member of House of Lords, he was telling that Indians are the most prosperous community in UK. So you can, China is in no comparison in Britain as far as Indians are concerned. So given this background in mind, now this is a new opportunity and a new, you can say that new era in India-UK relationship when both can gain and both can have a win-win situation. And this was the feeling that was generating out of both Prime Ministers' meeting. And when Foreign Secretary was talking to us just half an hour earlier, he was also giving the same feeling that work is on and working plans will be made further. Because this is in a way beginning that when both the Prime Ministers have come talk together and 11 MOUs have been signed between the two in presence of the two Prime Ministers, and 20-point agreement has also been made on various issues, right from technology association, right from trade. So these are, you can see the enthusiast. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is about to come, and enthusiast by every moving car they feel that Prime Minister is coming. So in a way that it is a very good feeling that has come, message has come from UK this time. And as far as terrorism is concerned, UK had been a bit guarded because Pakistan is also part of CHOGM. But this time you can see that right from right against financing of terror, propagating terror, radicalization, and also naming organizations like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. So everything has been mentioned. So I think it is one of the best meetings that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had with Theresa May in the tenure.
So talking about the importance being given to India by the UK, Akhilesh, we also understand the issue of economic offenders and their extradition was discussed between the meeting of both Prime Ministers. Has anything been agreed upon on that matter?
Yes, we asked Foreign Secretary about this issue, and we asked many questions were asked also. And he told that yes, economic offenders issue has been talked about, and our sources told that the name of Vijay Mallya also figured in the talk with Prime Minister Theresa May. So Government of India is very serious about repatriation of economic offenders, and some sort of understanding has been made. But since the whole issue is in the court, it will depend upon how the court moves and how UK presents the case, because our case is being fought by the UK attorneys. So in a way that it is, you can say that it is a positive understanding. But once the things are in the court, and you know that legislative process, judicial process takes some time in one way or other. So I think some message has been given from Prime Minister Theresa May that UK will push it much fiercely, much forcefully than it was. And I think this is the understanding that has been given to Prime Minister Narendra Modi about fugitives.
All right, Akhilesh, let's move on now to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. You mentioned that, you know, during the bilateral talks, a lot of importance was given to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the way he's being treated, the euphoria around his visit. There's also been a lot of buzz regarding how India is set to take a key role at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. How true are these reports?
See, this is the thing that is being talked about, that Commonwealth has no structure as such that many countries can contribute in whatever way. But I think understanding is trying to be made that there should be a common strategy about Commonwealth, because Commonwealth is a conglomeration of 53 nations, though Maldives is at this moment out of it. But these 52 nations, how they can cooperate together so that the trade war, you see the trade war has started between China and America. And also there is fierce competition among various developed countries about trade issues, cooperation issues. And Commonwealth is a conglomeration who has been associated with Britain during the British Empire. So there is some sort of bonding among these 52 nations. And India being the largest, the democracy, and also in a way the transparent politics, and also a very well-established administrative system, I think Britain is trying to associate India in moving just from the bonding of an empire to a practicability of how cooperation can enhance, because the move is to make it a practicable and workable conglomeration where trade can also be made, where they can share the technology for future, and they can also contribute to the smaller countries who are part of these Pacific nations countries, island nations. They are all waiting for development. And I think India and Britain can join together, and talks are moving in this way that India should play a role and India can play a role. That is why the joint statement today is so clear that I have not seen such joint statement in a recent past that mentioned about a joint role in international affairs, joint role in development, and joint role in securing a prosperous future for the Commonwealth countries and others. So I think that there is some joint mechanism might be developed, but this is beginning. Tomorrow is the beginning of Commonwealth head of governments meeting, and after that, when the follow-up actions will take place, India may contribute something much important than it was contributing earlier. And that is why, since Commonwealth are not having much significance either politically or economically as a group, that is why no Prime Minister chose in last 9 years to come and participate, because it was a lowered organization. But
Certainly.
now I think Britain wants to make it a higher organization where India can cooperate, and once India jumps into it, it may become an effective organization. Tina.
So together, UK and India, are looking at and in fact imagining a new Commonwealth. Thank you, Akhilesh, for joining us and giving us those details. We'll come back to you for more updates on the Prime Minister's visit to the UK. Moving on in the bulletin, news now from the pole-bound state of Karnataka. So as the elections are nearing in Karnataka, all political parties in the fray, the BJP, Congress and the JDS, are crisscrossing the state to gather maximum momentum. BJP President Amit Shah is himself campaigning for the party. While addressing a gathering in Bengaluru on Wednesday, Shah attacked the Congress over its remarks on saffron terrorism. He also took a dig at the Siddaramaiah government in the state on the issue of corruption. Earlier in the day, Shah garlanded the statue of Lord Basaveshwara on the occasion of Basava Jayanti. Shah, who is on a 2-day visit to the state, will also tour Bengaluru urban and Bengaluru rural districts.
एक महान हिंदू संस्कृति जो लाखों सालों से दुनिया को सभ्यता का संदेश देती है, दुनिया को शांति का संदेश देती है, दुनिया को संस्कार का संदेश देती है, उसको टेररिज्म के साथ जोड़ने का पाप एक कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया है। और आज मैं कार्यकर्ता सम्मेलन में कांग्रेस पार्टी के राहुल गांधी, कांग्रेस पार्टी के अध्यक्ष को पूछना चाहता हूं कि आप माफी मांगना चाहते हो या कर्नाटक की जनता आपसे माफी मंगाए? आप क्या चाहते हो तय कर लो।
Resentment over ticket distribution in Karnataka continues, with Congress leaders and workers holding protests in the state. Various senior party leaders expressed their disappointment over the manner in which tickets were distributed. At many places, party workers held protests outside party offices. The party, meanwhile, is trying to bring everyone on board.
This is the matter with the party high command and the PCC president, the Congress party. will take a decision. There are some issues which has been thrown in the light of the party high command, and they are just examining the issue.
We'll slip into a very short break here, but news and updates will continue on the other side.
As on today, the inland fisheries contribute 65% of the fish production of the India. So we are one of the propagating the inland sectors, the productivity enhancement, which is we are looking with the state governments. We have categorized 100 nutri-fish index. If you take this fish, then instead of taking the capsules for the micronutrient vitamins, and you can reduce that thing.
Watch Eureka with Dr. B.K. Das, Director ICAR, Central Inland Fisheries Research Institute, Kolkata, at Saturday 4 p.m. and Sunday 12 noon, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. The BJP on Wednesday appointed a new party president in Madhya Pradesh and is in the process of replacing its Rajasthan party chief. This was part of a major organizational revamp in the two poll-bound states where it has suffered some recent by-poll defeats to the Congress. BJP President Amit Shah appointed Rakesh Singh, a three-term MP representing Jabalpur in the Lok Sabha, as the head of its Madhya Pradesh unit, replacing Nand Kumar Singh Chauhan. Ashok Parmani and K. Haribabu, both of whom have resigned as chief of Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh units respectively, besides Chauhan, have been made members of its national executive. New heads of the party in Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh will reportedly be announced very soon.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में काम की एक अनवरत प्रक्रिया है। ये बदलाव भी प्रक्रिया का एक हिस्सा मात्र है। पहले भी दूसरे अध्यक्ष रहे हैं, बाद में नंदू भैया बने, आज मैं हूं, कल मैं भी नहीं रहूंगा, कोई और अध्यक्ष बनेगा, ये प्रक्रिया है। लेकिन संगठन का काम अनवरत तरीके से चलता रहता है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के हमारे प्रत्येक बूथ पर तैनात कार्यकर्ता उस काम को करते हैं और इसलिए समय इस मामले में कहीं कोई अड़चन नहीं है।
President Ramnath Kovind on Wednesday termed as barbaric the Kathua gang rape and murder case. The president was addressing students during the 6th convocation of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University in Katra, Jammu. The president said it is the collective responsibility of the society to ensure such things do not happen with any girl in the country, and that there is a need for us to introspect on the direction in which we as a society are heading towards.
किसी न किसी कोने में कहीं न कहीं हमारे बच्चे आज जघन्य अपराधों का शिकार हो रहे हैं। हाल ही में इस राज्य में एक मासूम बच्ची ऐसी बर्बरता और निर्मम हत्या का शिकार हुई है जिसकी कल्पना भी नहीं की जा सकती। जो जीवन का उद्देश्य, मानवीय मूल्य, वो बहुत जरूरी है। हम कैसा समाज बना रहे हैं, हम अपनी भावी पीढ़ी को क्या दे रहे हैं, क्या हम ऐसे समाज का निर्माण कर रहे हैं जहां हमारी मां, बहनें और बेटियां, जो हमारा भारतीय संविधान है, उसमें निहित न्याय, स्वतंत्रता, समानता और बंधुता को सही अर्थों में अनुभव कर सकते हैं। हम सभी की ये जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि देश के किसी भी भाग से किसी भी बेटी या बहन के साथ ऐसा ना हो।
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that a new legislation alone will not stem instances of violence, but political will along with a change in the mindset of men is necessary to end such crimes. The Vice President said this after launching the Assam government's new health assurance scheme, Atal Amrit Abhiyan, in Guwahati. He said that even after 70 years of independence, it's unfortunate that there are cases of atrocities against women and that initially people get disturbed with such incidents and forget about them later. He said that the state and the central government should implement the laws strictly to prevent such heinous crimes in future.
So there is a need for change of mindset among the men. That is what is required in the country. And then stringent implementation of the law by the government, state government, this government and that government. That's why I suggest to the people, don't connect rape cases with politics. The moment you connect rape cases with politics, the issue is gone.
The Delhi High Court on Wednesday slapped a fine of 10 lakh rupees on each media house that revealed the identity of the Kathua rape case victim. The court also decided to transfer the collected amount to the Jammu and Kashmir Victims Compensation Fund. The court further warned that anyone disclosing rape victims' identity can be imprisoned for up to 6 months. The next date of hearing in this case is slated for the 25th of April. Earlier on the 13th of April, the High Court issued a notice to various media houses for disclosing the identity of an 8-year-old girl who was gang raped and killed in Kathua district of Jammu and Kashmir. On to some other news now. The Income Tax Department today warned salaried taxpayers against underreporting income or inflating deductions, exemptions while filing income tax returns. In an advisory uploaded on the e-filing website on Wednesday, the Tax Department cautioned salaried taxpayers that such underreporting or inflating deductions or exemptions will be punishable under the Income Tax Act. The advisory follows recent reports of employees of several well-known companies fraudulently claiming income tax refunds by misreporting income via tax intermediaries. The Law Commission today said the Board of Control for Cricket in India should be brought under the ambit of the Information Law. The Law Commission noted that BCCI falls under the definition of a public authority. In its report to Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, the Law Commission put forth 4 recommendations regarding the BCCI. Noting the opacity and non-accountability of the board's functioning, the report stated that the BCCI exercised state-like powers that adversely affected the sport. In July 2016, the Supreme Court asked the Commission to recommend whether the Cricket Board can be brought under the Right to Information Act. All the 9 BJP ministers in the Mehbooba Mufti government, barring Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh, have resigned to enable the party to have new faces in an impending reshuffle. This decision was taken on Tuesday at the core group meeting of the BJP. This move is to reshuffle ministers in various departments and also include new faces in the government. There are in all 11 BJP ministers in Jammu and Kashmir government, out of whom 2 had resigned earlier. After which now there were only 9 ministers left in the state government. There is now a possibility of a rejig in Mehbooba Mufti cabinet, which will take place on the 20th of April.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो है नेशनल पार्टी है, केंद्र के साथ विचार विमर्श करने के बाद जो भी एक कम्प्रिहेंसिव सेटअप बैठता है उसके हिसाब से रिशफलमेंट जो है होगी उसी के नाते जो है। और जहाँ तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी पीडीपी गठबंधन का प्रश्न है, एक अच्छी गठबंधन सरकार के नाते दोनों पार्टियां जो हैं वो काम कर रही हैं।
And government sources today said that cash position across the country is improving fast, with over 80% of 2.2 lakh ATMs operating normally. An unusual spurt in demand for currency had led to many ATMs and banks running out of cash in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and pole-bound Karnataka and some other states yesterday, even as the government and the RBI assured the public that there was no currency shortage. On an average, 10 to 12% of ATMs at a given point of time are usually under maintenance due to one or the other reason and also remain out of service. So during normal days, 88% of ATMs are working and the rest are under maintenance. Reports of cash shortage first emerged from southern states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Interestingly, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, which received highest cash supply in the country in the last 2 years, faced cash shortage indicating the tendency to hoard high denomination currency notes. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has underscored the need to create health schemes that provide widest coverage to the young, aged and infirm and those suffering from both critical, acute and chronic ailments. Naidu was addressing a gathering after launching the Atal Amrit Abhiyan by the Assam government. The unique health scheme seeks to provide access to quality medical care to 3.2 crore people. The Vice President also called on the private sector to supplement the efforts of the government in a big way in reaching out medical care to the people in rural areas.
There is every need to create health coverage scheme that provide widest coverage to the young, aged, infirm and those suffering from both critical, acute and chronic ailments.
And on to some international news now. US President Donald Trump has said America was in direct talks with North Korea at a very high level ahead of his planned summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Trump also confirmed that his CIA director traveled to Pyongyang for a secret meeting with Kim. Trump tweeted that Mike Pompeo met with Kim in North Korea last week and the meeting went smooth and a good relationship was formed. Trump also said that both the nations are now preparing for the summit. In his tweet, he added that denuclearization will be a great thing for the world, but also for North Korea. The tweet came after there were reports of Pompeo making a trip to North Korea in the first week of April.
We've had talks at the highest level. Well, let's leave it a little bit short of that. But we have had talks at the highest level, yes. And it's going very well, but we'll see what happens.
And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.